welcome to TMZ Live. So we broke the story yesterday about an exchange of words at a Detroit auto factory between President Trump and an auto worker, where the auto worker called Trump a pedophile protector, and Donald Trump then responded by the expletive "you," which it's a little hard to hear, and then flipped him off. Here's the video. Well, there were consequences, and the first consequence is the auto worker has been suspended.
Right. TJ Sabula is the person who was on the floor of that factory and yelled out those words to the president, and clearly, I think, based on the video, made eye contact with the president. The president pointing at him, there was Secret Service pointing at him, so he had to suspect there were going to be consequences. He has been suspended, as you said, but he has also said he has absolutely no regrets in making the decision to yell that out at the president.
So it really raises some interesting issues about what people can and can't do on the job. And his union is now not only backing him, but vowing to fight on his behalf.
Right. And who knows what's going to happen if Ford wants to do more than suspend him, but this is what the United Auto Workers Union told us. The auto worker believes in freedom of speech, a principle we wholeheartedly embrace, and we stand with our membership in protecting their voice on the job. The UAW will ensure that our member receives the full protection of all negotiated contract language safeguarding his job and his rights as a union member. So they are not going to back down to the president. Basically, what they're insinuating here is, in case there's any pressure coming from the administration on Ford to do something,
which would not be shocking.
Which would not be shocking. The union is going to stand with TJ Sabula.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised, too. At this particular union, they supported Kamala Harris during the election, so I think they're not exactly Trump fans.
No, I mean, the head of UAW got into a shouting match
with Trump, so it doesn't shock me.
Although there's a difference here, and I think the difference is Donald Trump gets triggered by Epstein.
Yeah.
He just does.
Oh, clearly.
And I think had this guy screamed something else about immigration,
affordability.
Affordability.
Right.
I don't know that it would have gotten Trump's ire the way it did.
Right, I agree. Those two words.
I think those two words trigger him, and it really brings Epstein back into the headlines because this is what Donald Trump is just he can't tolerate.
Right. No, I agree. He gets people yelling things at him everywhere he goes.
Right.
Doesn't react like
this. But this he does. Yeah. So it raises a kind of an interesting issue. The union was saying this is him exercising his freedom of speech. At the same time,
he's on the job.
He's on the job, and there's a disruptive nature to it. I don't know what the union contract says. It may say things like you can't disrupt the workplace.
Right.
And maybe they interpret that as disrupting the workplace. I don't know. I don't know how a judge would rule on that.
I don't know, but clearly the union seems to think that he was within his rights to yell out what he yelled while the president's there.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, a judge would have to decide, or a jury would have to decide if it got to that point.
It's interesting that I think this goes all the way to the top of Ford. And then they have to make it does.
Yes. Oh, I 100%
and then
agree.
it becomes a purely political.
If you guys have a guest in here on TMZ Live and I start heckling them and yelling things at them, I would expect to be fired.
Well, I mean, that has happened in the past. Quite famously, that person was not fired.
Well,
but
I was performing on the show. No, I think
I wasn't talking.
You were talking about something else.
Oh, I thought talking about something else.
No, it's something else.
But yeah, I would expect
all
that.
I'm saying is that Ford has a dog in the fight in terms of its business with Donald Trump.
Yes.
So then is Ford going to say to the union, go pound sand, and that we support Trump on
and
this?
That we have
they're in between a rock and a hard spot.
They're in a bind.
Absolutely.
If the Trump administration puts pressure, if they make a phone call to Ford, now they're in a bind.
Right.
Exactly.
If the administration doesn't say anything, I think that Ford has to go along with the union. They're not going to screw the union.
You think that nobody from the administration is going to call anybody from Ford?
I mean, they're busy. They got a lot of other things going on.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I'm from Metro Detroit. So I have a couple thoughts on this, and the biggest one to me is a free speech issue. The guy used words. He did not use violence. And more importantly, to your point, the president is so triggered by this. And when something doesn't resonate with you, if you don't identify with something, you kind of just let it roll off the back. And he did not do this.
No.
And more importantly, a president, it's literally in the job description. You have to be able to receive criticism and insults with some modicum of grace and maturity. And I don't really think that he's very good at doing that.
Have you been watching
Yeah.
the news in the last year? I mean,
Maturity.